Chip's tips on Oman. Oman. Oman is a small country on the Arabian Peninsula in the Middle East. Its official name is the Sultanate of Oman, and its capital city is Muscat. It is called a sultanate because it is ruled by a sultan, Sultan Qaboos bin Said Al Said. A sultan is like a king. Oman has a population of almost 4 million people, and they speak the official language of Oman, which is Arabic. Almost 95% of the population is Muslim. Oman is located at a very important position where trade ships and tankers pass through the Persian Gulf, going to the Gulf of Oman, and eventually the Indian Ocean. For hundreds of years, Oman was an empire that stretched from Iran and Pakistan to Zanzibar on the eastern coast of Africa. Location: Oman is located at the southeastern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, a part of the Middle East on the continent of Asia in the northern hemisphere. The Arabian Peninsula is a large land mass located between the continent of Africa and the rest of the continent of Asia. Oman is bordered by several countries. It is bordered on the southwest by Yemen. To the west lies Saudi Arabia, and on the northwest it is bordered by the United Arab Emirates. On the northeast, Oman has a coastline on the Gulf of Oman, and on the southeast it has a coastline on the Arabian Sea. The country of Oman is made up of two additional small areas of land, Mada and Musandam. Muda is located completely within the border of the UAE, while Musandam is partly bordered by the UAE and partly by the sea. Geography. The geography of Oman is made up of a vast desert in the middle of the country with mountain ranges called the Al-Hajar Mountains, found in the north, as well as mountains located along the southeast coast. Over 80% of the country is made up of desert and valleys, while the other 20% is made up of the northern mountains and the plains along the coast. There are green plains along part of the coast, and these are used for agriculture. There are many oases here, and the water for this area comes from the Al-Hajar Mountains. There are some cliffs along the coastline that are up to 4,000 feet in height. In central Oman, there are wadis, or valleys. The largest wadi is called Wadi Samail, and this valley is used as the main form of transportation from Muscat into central Oman. Oman is about 1,000 miles long. At nearly 10,000 feet high, the tallest mountain in Oman is Jebel Shams, or Mountain of Sun. Only 0.12% of Oman's land is arable. Climate. The climate of Oman is generally hot and dry all year long. Only the most western area of Oman, where it borders Yemen, has a monsoon climate. During the monsoon season, warm winds come to this area from the Indian Ocean. The summer months last from April until October. The highest temperatures are in the central area of Oman. Here, temperatures can get as hot as 128 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. Winter temperatures in Oman are much more pleasant and range between 65 degrees Fahrenheit and 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Rain only falls during the winter months. This precipitation ranges between 1 inch and 4 inches, depending on the area of the country. There is much more rain in the mountains. At Jebel Akdor, a part of the Al-Hajar mountain range, it can rain as much as 36 inches. Although it has a hot, dry desert climate, it can become very humid along Oman's coastlines. History. Scientists tell us that humans have been living in what is now Oman for thousands of years. They have found tools and very old drawings of animals and humans carrying weapons. It was later that the tribes from the west, from what is now Yemen, moved eastward into Oman. Here they fished in the sea and tended their livestock inland. Starting around 1,500 years ago, several different large empires moved into the area and took turns ruling the local people. About 500 years ago, the Portuguese arrived by sea. They ruled Oman for about 150 years. They were eventually pushed out by tribes from Yemen. All of the sultans of Oman, including the current reigning sultan, came from these tribes from Yemen. The Omani Empire lasted for several hundred years. Oman joined the Arab League and the United Nations in 1971. Although Oman depended on Great Britain for many years, it never became a part of the British Empire. The current sultan, Qaboos bin Said Al Said, overthrew his father in 1970 and became the new sultan. Major cities. Muscat is the largest city and the capital of Oman. It has a population of just fewer than 1 million people. It is a historic city with forts like Al-Jalali Fort and Al-Mirani Fort. The Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque, which is the third largest mosque in the world, and the Qasr al-Alam Royal Palace. Salalah is located in the southern part of Oman and is the birthplace of the current reigning sultan. The monsoon winds blow through this area of Oman every year. Suhar is a coastal city northeast of Muscat. It is the legendary home of the famous Sinbad the sailor. It is also known for its copper mines. Nizwa is a city that is located west of Muscat in the center of Oman. It was the capital of Oman at one time. It is famous today for its large fort that was built by a sultan 400 years ago. Culture. Because of its important location, ships, trading, and shipbuilding have always played a big part in Oman's culture. A dhow is the name of a traditional wooden boat, and dhows are still being built today in the old traditional way. Men wear a long white ankle-length gown with long sleeves called a dishdasha. They also wear a kind of turban and a dagger called a khanjar. Women wear very colorful dishdashas that are decorated with embroidery and a head shawl. For breakfast, Omanis eat a bread called rukal, which is served with honey. Rukal is also eaten with other meals. Most people eat their main meal at noon and a lighter meal in the evening. Dishes are usually made with chicken, fish, or lamb. Holwa is a dessert made from honey and nuts and is served with coffee. In 2003, the Sultan ruled that everyone could vote in elections. The majority of Omanis are Arabs, but there are also people from Bangladesh, Egypt, India, Iran, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and several countries in Africa like Somalia. Because the form of government is an absolute monarchy, political parties are not allowed in Oman. Famous people. There are several famous people from Oman's past and present. Abu Muhammad Abdallah lived about 1,000 years ago. He was the first person to write an alphabetical encyclopedia of medicine. Sif bin Sultan was a powerful sultan who defeated the Portuguese in East Africa about 300 years ago. Samira bint Muhammad al-Musa is an ambassador from Oman. She is now a permanent delegate to UNESCO. Ali Abdullah Rib al-Habsi is a soccer player from Oman. One of the most famous people from Oman is the current Sultan, Qaboos bin Said Al Said. He has opened his country up to more tourism and is trying to improve his country and the lives of his people. His palace is located in Muscat, the capital of Oman. Festivals. One of the biggest festivals in Oman is the Muscat Festival. It is held every year in January and February and includes cultural, artistic, and traditional events and activities. The Salalah Tourism Festival is also popular. It is held in the southern part of Oman between June and September when the rain and fog arrive. This helps to make everything green. The Tour of Oman is a bicycle event that covers over 500 miles in several areas of Oman. Fireworks displays light up the skies on National Day, November 18th, the Sultan's birthday. The Wahiba Challenge is a motorsports event held in October in the Wahiba Sands. Eid al-Fitr is held for 3 days at the end of the month-long Muslim season of Ramadan. People can feast and give gifts to each other. Holidays. There are several holidays in Oman, and some of them are religious and some of them are secular. The religious holidays are based on the Islamic calendar, which is not the same as the calendar that we use, the Western calendar or Gregorian calendar. New Year's Day is celebrated on January 1st, as it is in most places around the world. Renaissance Day on July 23rd celebrates the first day that the current reigning Sultan, Qaboos bin Said Al Said, began his rule. National Day falls on November 18th and celebrates the Sultan's birthday. Islamic holidays include Muharram, or Islamic New Year, Rabi ul Awwal, or the Prophet's birthday, Rajab, or the Prophet's ascension, and Shawwal, the end of Ramadan, the month-long season of fasting. Major occupations. Oman has depended on its oil and natural gas industry for many years, but it is now trying to come up with additional ways to give jobs to its people. Because of its geography, agriculture produces just enough food to feed the local people, but not enough to export to other countries. The major agricultural products are dates, grains, limes, and vegetables. Tourism is a source of jobs for Omani people. Tourists visit Muscat, the desert, to go on dune safaris, and Salalah during the wet and green season. Tourists also spend money buying things like traditional handicrafts in the local souks or markets, and this gives income to the Omani people. Oman's biggest trade partner is China. The currency of Oman is called the rial, and 1 rial is divided into 1,000 paisa. In addition to oil and natural gas, Oman also exports fish, metals, and textiles. Animals. There are many marine animals swimming along the coast of Oman, including 22 different kinds of dolphins and whales. There are coral reefs and many kinds of colorful tropical fish. Turtles make their homes along the shores of Oman, and there are special areas called reserves where turtles can lay their eggs. There are about 400 different kinds of birds that live in Oman, like the Egyptian vulture, Barbary falcon, glossy ibis, golden oriole, nightjar, Socotra cormorant, and the white stork. An oryx is a kind of antelope, and the Arabian oryx that lives in Oman is an endangered animal. The Arabian leopard is also endangered and lives in Oman and other places on the Arabian Peninsula. Scientists estimate that there are only 250 Arabian leopards still alive. Plants. There are about 1,200 different kinds of interesting and unusual plants that grow in Oman. About 80 of these are endemic and found only in Oman and nowhere else on Earth. The leaves of the yas plant, or myrtis communis are used to make perfume. Frankincense trees provide a resin that is used to make incense and perfumes. It has been considered very valuable throughout history and was an item that was traded with Egypt and countries in Europe. It is also famous as one of the gifts the wise men gave to the child Jesus in the Christian Bible. Other plants include the acacia tree, juniper, and wild olive. Several kinds of plants are used to make natural medicine, soaps, and dyes. Frankincense trees grow in the wild in Oman. Visiting. Muscat is the largest city and the capital of Oman, so this is where most flights arrive. Here, visitors can see the forts, the royal palace, the mosque, and the Corniche. The Corniche is the street and walkway along the harbor. It is here that there are many old historic buildings as well as a souk market. The forts are also nearby. Salalah is a good place to visit if you want to see a non-desert setting in Oman. During and after the monsoon rains, it has almost a tropical climate, and there are many green places to visit in this area. Sor is the place to visit if you are interested in seeing how the Omanis make dhows, boats, in the traditional way. Nizwa has the biggest and best fort in Oman, and nearby are the dunes of Wahiba sands.